people, great people, guys, people. How y'all doing, man? It's been a minute since I've been on the mic, but we back. We are back. And we back, and we back. Na, na, na. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's your boy, the host of the Antidote, Professor Odie. And we are here again in the fourth, fifth season of the Antidote. Man, we didn't been trugging along, but y'all see that I took a year and a half off the mic, man. And I'm gonna give y'all a little what's it called? Update as to the reason why that transpired. So, as y'all know, or as y'all may not know, I got engaged. Clap it up. Yeah, got engaged to my beautiful fiance. Moved in. We are now living together, which is the reason why my background looks different. Which is the reason why things look a little different. I don't got all the lighting and all. I don't got all that set up yet. We gonna get there. Y'all gonna see this grow again, right? Um, Also got my license. So your boy is now a licensed practitioner. We are a licensed therapist in the state of Pennsylvania. You dig what I'm saying? So we out here officially licensed. We out here officially engaged. We out here officially doing big man things, right? And I think that this is gonna be the premise of the season this year, man. Like this is gonna be the premise of what it is that we're gonna be talking about. Because during this period of time, I went through a number of mental metamorphoses. I went through a number of understanding how it is that I'm going to approach myself in this season. I went through a number of periods of time where in which I had to become reacclimated to my own personal politic, and I had to become reacclimated to my own personal development. I had to become reacclimated to my own person, right? Because being a content creator is very interesting. Being a content creator who is a professional, or being a professional who is also a content creator, is very interesting because you are inundated with a bunch of opinions. You are inundated with a bunch of perspectives, and you are inundated with a bunch of different ways in which people see things and people look at things. And as a therapist, my job, quite literally, sometimes is to make sense of these things. My job is to extend empathy. My job is to understand where in the world this person's perspective is rooted, right? But sometimes you traverse through the world so far that you forget to come home. And that is what this season is going to be about: coming home to yourself, me coming home to myself, me sharing that journey with you all, me challenging you all to do the same thing, and us having discussions around what it means to be the best version of yourself for yourself. Right now, before we go any further, I don't know if you all know, but I'm going to be much, much, much more vehement in letting you all know that I also have a Patreon. And my Patreon is different from other Patreons in the sense that it's a Patreon that is based around the group coaching model, right? And the Patreon is called Selfish. And within the Selfish Patreon, what it is that we do is that I help you all understand how to be more selfish. That's literally what I do. I just help you understand how to be more selfish. I help you understand what it means to be for you, to learn how to put yourself first, to learn how to assert better boundaries, to learn how to communicate your boundaries more effectively, and also to understand how it is that your wants, your needs, and your desires play into your ability to take care of yourself for yourself so that you can show up to community more effectively. So if you want to learn more about the Patreon, the link to my Patreon is going to be in the description, and we can go from there. But without further ado, y'all, the name of this episode is Who Are You? Who are you? Right? Who are you in the world? Who are you to yourself? Who are you within your space of your philosophy? So I'm gonna take it back a little bit, right? I'm gonna take it back so that y'all can understand where it is that I'm coming from in this degree, and where it is that I'm coming from in this new journey of the season of this podcast, right? So I don't know if y'all can see it behind me. It's like right there, right? This is my degree from Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, right? My degree is in community psychology with a focus in Afrocentric theory. And I just turned 33 on June 8th. My birthday is on June 8th. I'm a Gemini. If any of y'all Gemini haters, fuck y'all, but that's besides the point. My birthday was on June 8th. And before my birthday, in the month after my birthday, so within that 30-day period of time, I tend to do reflections. And this year, I decided to utilize ChatGPT to give me a list of prompts that I could use in order to evoke my own personal politic, to evoke who it is that I am as an individual, to evoke what it is that I think, feel, and believe. And the challenge was that I could not look at any sources. I could not look at social media beforehand. I could not look anything up. This was purely based upon what it is that I had learned up to this point. It was purely based upon how it is that I've learned how to articulate what it is that I know, what it is that I believe, and what it is that I've been centralized in for most of my life up to this point. And I've always been Afrocentric, y'all. Even if y'all look at the description of the YouTube before I change it, it is looking at things through an Afrocentric lens. It is looking at things through the lens of Afrocentricity. And the reason why I believe that Afrocentricity is one of the most foundational ideologies for black people to implement, for one of the most dog it's so deeply rooted in the way in which our reality is shaped based upon being in spaces where in which we are consistently oppressed, we are consistently suppressed, we are consistently pushed into the lower rungs of society. But what does it mean to be Afrocentric? Right? What does it mean to embody? What does it mean to internalize these things? What does it mean to have this be a part of your personal ethic? So I went to Odunde Festival and I grabbed this book. This book is called Afrocentricity, The Theory of Social Change. It is by Molefi Asante. Shout out Dr. Asante. And y'all know I'm always reading something. Y'all know I always got something to read because I don't do well with building things that are uninformed. I don't do well with building things that are unintentional. And once again, I was introduced to Afrocentricity not at Florida Agricultural Mechanical University, but through my mother. Right, I was introduced to Afrocentricity not directly in the sense that my mother was a practicing Afrocentrist, but directly through the sense that my mother was very much so a race first person. My mother was a pride in her race type of person. My mother, for all intents and purposes, she never said this, but I kind of knew it. Like if I paid enough attention, my mother was a Garveyite, bro. Like my mother was a Garveyite, and she did not have to say this. It was in her intent. It was in her movement. It was in her application of planning of how it is that our lives were going to go from the point that we were conceived. My mother said, I don't want you all around anybody else but black people because you need to understand that black people are more than what it is that they try to say that we are. Your family is black. The people who you come from are black. The people who you will continue to propagate are black. My mama was one of them mamas where she said if she can run a comb through her head, don't bring it here. Right? So Afrocentricity has always been a part of my life. But to look at it as a full ideology, to look at it as a political choice, to look at it as a framework by which I can build psychological intervention was something that I learned when I went to Florida Agricultural Mechanical University. But I bring up the book because the book has one of the most, I believe, one of the most comprehensive and all-inclusive definitions of Afrocentricity that I believe that can be activated and utilized, right? So, in the book, Dr. Molefi Asante says the definition of Afrocentricity, right? Afrocentricity is a mode of thought and action in which the centrality of African interests, values, and perspectives predominate. In regards to theory, it is the placing of African people in the center of any analysis of African phenomena. Thus, it is possible for anyone to master the discipline of seeking the location of Africans in a given phenomenon. In terms of action and behavior, it is a devotion to the idea that what is in the best interest of African consciousness is at the heart of ethical behavior. Finally, Afrocentricity seeks to enshrine the idea that blackness itself is a trope of ethics. Thus, to be black is to be against all forms of oppression, racism, classism, homophobia, patriarchy, child abuse, pedophilia, and white racial domination. I'm gonna read that last part one more time because I need y'all to understand who I am and where it is that I come from and what my personal ethic is, right? And how it is that I move forward in engaging with not only my clients, not only with my followers, but the world, right? My people, my community, the world. Thus, to be black is to be against all forms of oppression, racism, classism, homophobia, patriarchy, child abuse, pedophilia, and white racial domination. As a black man who is going to be married to a black woman who has lived in black communities for most, if not all, of his life, who loves black people with all of my heart, despite the fact that some of y'all get on my goddamn nerves, right? Who I am is somebody who is firmly against racism, homophobia, patriarchy, misogyny, misogynoir, child abuse, pedophilia, and white racial domination in any of its forms. And I am saying that today. I am standing on that business today. And it's not as if though I have not stood on that business before, but I'm going to make it very clear today. Here's the reason why. Because all of my theoretical orientations, all of my positions, every single one of those things comes from that onus. Every single one of the things that I believe comes from that onus. And that is how it is that I define how it is that I am, who it is that I am, how it is that I operate. Now, why is this relevant? Right? And what does this have to do with y'all? What does this have to do with growing your mental health? What does this have to do with you being more selfish? What does this have to do with you discovering who it is that you are? If you are black, if you are a black person, most of my folks is black, right? Most of the people who I speak to is black. My primary audience, my preferred demographic is black folk, right? If you engage in harm that is based in homophobia, if you engage in harm that is based in misogynoir or misogyny, if you engage in harm that is based upon patriarchy, if you engage in harm that is based upon child abuse, if you engage in harm that is based upon prioritizing white or white nationalist ideologies, white racial ideologies, anything of that nature above the survival thrust of black people, one, I'm on your ass, and two, it contributes to the decimation and it contributes to the deconstruction and it contributes to the disorganization and it contributes to the dysregulation and it contributes to the destruction of the black psyche. It contributes to the dissolving of the black subjective well-being, and it does very little, very, 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 very little to forward us towards a collective liberation, a collective consciousness, right? Who are you as a black person? What decisions are you making, and from what onus do you know? Have you taken the time to deconstruct these things? Have you taken the time to plant your flag and say, this is the type of person who I want to be? Right? Have you defined what your ethics, your values, and your morals are? And if so, how do these things play out in your day-to-day lives? What does that look like? Who are you? Right? Who are your people? Who have you designed or who have you designated for your people to be? Because once again, sometimes the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. Sometimes your chosen family is a little bit more, how can I say, forgiving, is a little bit more graceful, is a little bit more, engaging than your born family. And that's okay. That's all right. Right? But what does it look like to identify this in real time? What does it look like for us to be in spaces in which we allow ourselves to say that being rooted in my blackness means being against homophobia. It means being against racism. It means being against misogynoir. It means being against misogyny. It means being against all of these other things that we know psychologically create spaces of shame, guilt, and harm. To be against patriarchy, and that's gonna be a big one that we're gonna talk about this season, dog. Because some of y'all love patriarchy as much as y'all love misogyny. Some of y'all love patriarchy as much as y'all love white nationalist ideas. Some of y'all love patriarchy as much as y'all think that y'all love each other. But the reality of the situation is the same way that we see each other through the lens of white supremacy domination is the same way that we look at each other through the lens of patriarchy. And that's the reason why so many of us are where it is that we are. That's the reason why so many of us have the ailments that we have. That's the reason why so many of us experience life the way that it is that we experience it, because we are attempting to place each other in a hierarchy. We are attempting to place each other above or below when the reality of the situation is, shit, you always gonna be below somebody. Right? You can look down to see who's below you all the time, but if you don't look up, then your analysis is incomplete. You believe that you are at the top because you refuse to look above you, and that's very easy to do, but that's a state of delusion if we want to be very honest. Right? So who are you? Who do you believe yourself to be? right? Where does your self worth come from? Where does your self definition come from? Where does your ability to excavate and place value within your life come from? Where are you digging? Where does your soil reside? What are your fertilizers? What are the things that help you grow? Right? And this journey for myself has only been happening, well, intentionally over the past like 15 days. What is it? 19 days. It's Juneteenth, right? So I want to be very clear. I think that a lot of us spend so much time wanting to be understood. I think so much time is spent going towards being understanding or going towards creating cohesion and creating the ability to be understood that we forget to understand ourselves, right? And what I mean by that is that there is so much external noise. There is a lot of external pressure. There is a lot of external ideologies that are related to this perception that we have to be a particular way. That there's this perception that these things are appropriate or inappropriate. There are these perceptions that, whether it be respectability politics, how it is that men are supposed to behave, how it is that women are supposed to behave, all of these rules, regulations, standards, etc. But do you know your own? Have you taken the time to synthesize? Have you taken the time to integrate? Have you taken the time to break down where it is that these sources of information come from? Have you taken the time to challenge it? Right? Have you taken the time to actually think to yourself, do I actually believe what it is that I am practicing? And if I believe it, why? Right? Does this belief benefit me? Does it pay out? Has it paid out in the way that I thought that it would? Has it given me a return on its investment? Has it done what it is that I believe that it should do? And for me, Afrocentricity has done that every single time. I find myself in the happiest communities when those communities are operating from a place of Afrocentricity and not that performative shit, right? Not that, oh, we gonna wear kente cloths and we gonna call it like no. Are you operating in the ethical and the value condition of what it means to be black Afrocentrically? Once again, we gonna read definitions. You hear me? Definitions, right? We gonna read it one more again. We gonna run it through one more time, right? Thus, to be black is to be against all forms of oppression, racism, classism, homophobia, patriarchy, child abuse, pedophilia, and white racial domination. If we look at the core, if we look at the root, if we do the root cause analysis of most of the things that ail you as a black person, they are rooted in one of those things. Once again, if we look at the root, if we do a root cause analysis of the things that cause you ailment as a black person, they are rooted in most of those things. Right? Oh, we can't get right. Why? Oh, I feel like I'm always working. I feel like I'm always. Why? Oh, I was harmed when I was a child and why? Oh, women don't respect who it is that I am as a person. Why? Oh, men treat me like X, Y. Why? Why do these things occur? Why do these things transpire? And how do you either commit yourself to dismantling them, or how do you commit your energy to perpetuating these things? Because some of us like to pretend like we don't perpetuate some of the shit that we are against, and we do. We do. But genuinely, do you take the time to sit down and examine how it is that you approach some of these things? Do you? Do you take the time to admit to yourself, maybe, just maybe, I am contributing to some of my own outcomes? Because once again, we got to learn how to take self accountability, y'all. Right? And I know y'all love that word. Oh, don't nobody want to take accountability. Don't nobody. If you hold yourself accountable, there are fewer people who need to hold you accountable. So learn how to hold yourself accountable. That's going to be another one of the themes of this season. Right? Are you actually examining yourself through the lens of objectivity, as close to it as you can get? Because once again, objectivity is another one of them things that, in the Afrocentric perspective, that is a very Eurocentric thing. There is no such thing as something existing in a vacuum. It always exists in a relationship to something else. Einstein was not the first person to come up with the theory of relativity. It was black folks, it was Africans, right? Because we know that things have to exist in collaboration with one another. We know that things have to exist in community with one another. And that's another thing that folks have been talking about a lot for the past couple of weeks. Y'all want to have community without the inconvenience. That is a self problem. That is a problem of the self. That is a problem of the individual, not the institution. Because all the institution is a collection of individuals. So once again, how are you contributing to the institution? What are you bringing? What are you bringing? Oh, what you bringing to the table? No, motherfucker, what are you bringing to the community? What are you doing? What are you contributing? Right? And it's not only just about contribution, it's about what are you asking for in return? Do you know what you need? Do you know what your needs, wants, and your desires are? Do you know how to communicate these things to somebody? So if somebody asks you, do you need help? Do you know how to accept this help? Odie, what do these things have to do with Afrocentricity? All of these things have to do with community, collaboration, and reciprocation. We are trying to place all of the responsibility of a community on our partners in our relationships, and that's the reason why so many of our relationships are failing. I told y'all we're going to get into a lot of shit this season, bro. We're going to get into a lot because, once again, I told y'all I was going to get back in my duffel because I done been away from home for too long, but I'm back. I'm back. We back in it. We back in the duffel. We back to the root. Sometimes you have to go back home, right? Sometimes you have to return from whence you came in order to understand how much you've grown. Very similar to Paul, the alchemist, right? We have to understand where it is that we've come from in order to understand where it is that we're going. And sometimes we have to reach back to get. We have to reach back to bring into the future, saying Kofa, right? We have to look at things in cycles instead of straight lines because that's what they are. This is what intergenerational trauma is, ladies and gentlemen. It is the cyclical nature of the behaviors that you continue to engage in based upon survival and adaptation that you do not question. But why do you not question it? Is it honestly because it's what it is that you've been taught, or have you been beaten into submission by somebody who has said that they are authoritative over you? That's a type of child abuse. We talking about gentle parenting. We talk about these are things that are inherent to our community. These are things that we have known prior to these discussions that we are having. But are we really equipped to have the conversations that are necessary in order to build a community that holds itself accountable? But a community that holds itself accountable starts with holding yourself accountable. What does self accountability look like? And if you have no ethics, if you have no morals, if you have no values, there's nothing for you to hold yourself accountable to. There's nothing for you to frame yourself by. So once again, who are you? Do you have the integrity that you are attempting to charge other people with not having? Where does it reside? Who are you? Do you overextend yourself to other people because that's the only way that you know how to perceive self-value? Who are you? Do you acquiesce to the opinions of others because you desire to be understood instead of being somebody who is clear, who exempts clarity? That's a problem that I had, y'all. And that's a problem that I'm going to have to continue to work on because sometimes I feel as if though people do not understand me. I feel as if though I speak in such a way where it is difficult to make heads or tails of what it is that I'm saying, but no longer can I afford to stay in that place. No longer can I afford to behave as if though that place is somewhere that is beneficial for me because it is not. It's not. It does not benefit me to be in a place where I have to consistently seek understanding, because then what happens is that the message gets diluted. Things get lost in translation. Things become difficult to understand because I'm attempting to utilize too many pieces of terminology, and now people don't know what up from down is. Now people don't know what in from out is. Now people don't know what the core of my message is no longer, right? But that's me holding myself accountable. What does accountability look like to you before you try to charge anybody else with it? What does accountability look like to you? Who are you? Who are you? Right? Now, some of y'all may be asking, Odie, where did all of this come from? Why did you all of a sudden, well, not all of a sudden, but where did this come from? Well, to be honest, I'm getting ready to be the leader of a house, not the only leader, not in the hierarchical sense, but I'm getting ready to be somebody who is a part of a collaborative team that makes decisions that then impacts not only the house, but the people who we are bringing into it. That is a community responsibility. And because I am part of this community, I have to be responsible for my part in this community. I have to be responsible for my part in this collaboration, and I refuse. I refuse to be a useless goat. I refuse. I refuse to be the type of man that my woman has to carry. I refuse. I refuse to be the type of man where my woman has to kneel in order for me to appear taller. I refuse, because that's what white men do. And I'm not a white man. Right? I refuse to ask for submission when I am unwilling to give it. I refuse. Because that's what colonizers do. Right? I refuse to be a labor digger and extract labor from somebody and I'm not willing to reciprocate labor. I refuse, because that's what imperialists do. I refuse. So once again, in the spirit of integrity, if I am going to call myself an Afrocentrist, if I'm going to call myself a community member, if I'm going to call myself somebody who is going to give as much as I ask for, that means that I have to be accountable to myself first. I have to be accountable to my own values, my morals, and my ethics first. But once again, when we out in social media land, it's a lot of opinions. It's a lot of noise. It's a lot of, oh, this, I think this and this, then, and men should and women should. I had to get quiet. I had to go ghost for a little minute. Right? I had to get back to me, who Odie is. Right? Have you given yourself the opportunity to get back to you, who you are? Do you know who you are? Have you given yourself the opportunity to create your own structure? Do you know who you are? Right? I believe that a number of us experience the ailments that we do. I believe that a number of us experience the disassembled or dysregulated subjective well-being. Yes, because of systemic things. Yes, because of systemic things. Yes, because of, I think I said systemic twice. I thought I said, yeah, I said systemic twice. Systemic things, because, we just gonna say, I said it for emphasis, right? But yes, systemic things, but also because we have not determined where the self will be. We have acquiesced to defeat based upon consistency of experience, right? But one of the core aspects of Afrocentricity is self-determination. You are the determining factor. You are the final say-so in your destiny. You have that survival thrust. You have an innate desire to actualize, not over the community, but within it. Are you holding yourself accountable to what it is that you said you would do for you? Are you doing that? Are you standing on your business? Are you following through on that business that you said you was going to follow through on? Are you keeping yourself healthy? I'm working on that. Listen, I'm a big boy. I'm working on getting smaller. I got to get smaller so that when my children come, I will be able to be here for the rest of their lives. For the rest of my life in their lives. Right? Are we following through on what it is that we said that we were going to do? Are we telling people that they are asking too much of us? Are we saying to people that they are causing us harm? Are we continuing to write? Are we continuing to express? Are we continuing to archive? Are we continuing to create? Are we continuing to gatekeep? Are we continuing to build? Are we continuing to implement? Are we continuing to create these structures? Are we standing on business? Who are you? Right? Because here's the reality of the situation. Hey, millennials. Black folks specifically between the ages of like 40 and I don't know how old the oldest millennial is, and I don't know how young the youngest millennial, but millennials, nigga, it's our turn. We are at the bat. We are batting. We are here. It is our turn. We are the grown people. Oh, ain't nobody having cookouts no more. Nigga, go get on the grill. Oh, ain't nobody. I was at Deontay's show last night in Philly. Shout out Deontay Kyle. And he was talking about the idea of patience. He was talking about the idea of being more patient and how the things that are surrounding us are robbing us of that patience. The reason why our family stayed together the way that they did, as imperfect as they were, the reason why they stayed together the way that they did is because we were patient with one another. We empathized with one another. We extended grace to one another. And people will ask, well, when does that end? Well, we will come to that bridge when we get to it. Once again, it's gonna be a lot of shit we're gonna be unpacking this season, y'all. But what is the core of community? It is that patience. It is that willingness to engage. It is that love ethic that bell hooks talk about. Are we operating in an ethic of love? Are we operating in the sense that we can go and we can ask somebody to be patient with us, with the reality of knowing that at some point in time we are going to have to be patient with somebody? Oh, ain't nobody doing this no more. Motherfucker, that's because we got to do it. We have to do it. We have to find a way to get it done. We do. It is our turn. We are now the cultivators. We are now the surveyors. We are now the curators. We are now the gatekeepers, and we are now the people who have replaced the legends that we have seen pass on. We now have the torch. What are we going to do with it? What are we going to do with it? We are now the people who are responsible for keeping the community either where it is or bringing it into the future that we desire for ourselves and our children. We are responsible. It is our turn. It is our turn. So when I ask the question, who are you? I am not asking the question, who are you? I am asking the question, who are you as you relate to other people? Who are you as you relate to community? Who are you as you relate to yourself? Right? I was watching a clip. I can't remember where the clip was from. And it was talking about some German philosopher. I forget this nigga name. But they were talking about the idea of the self. Right? And the idea of the self is not a static thing. The self is a dynamic, but the dynamic is you and you. It is you in a sense of duality. It is you, excuse me, it is you and how it is that you relate to yourself. It is you and how it is that you allow other people to relate to you. But once again, it is very difficult. It is very difficult to nail that down if you do not know who you are. If you do not know what your morals, your ethics, your values are, it is very difficult to nail that down. It is very difficult to have boundaries if you do not know what to protect. It is very difficult to curate something if you do not know what beauty is and how it is that it can appear in different forms. It is very difficult for you to identify who it is that you are if you cannot even see yourself in the God that you claim to worship. Who are you? Do you know who you are? Self-respect cannot come without a conceptualization of the self. Self-worth cannot come without the conceptualization of the self. Self-esteem cannot come without the conceptualization of the self. This is the reason why my program, this is the reason why my Patreon, this is the reason why my community is called Selfish, because at the end of the day, the boundaries, the understanding your needs, your wants, your values, all of those different things are a part of understanding yourself beyond your trauma. It is understanding yourself beyond your pain. It is understanding yourself beyond the system. It is understanding yourself from the perspective of who it is that you desire to be beyond these things. Do you give yourself the opportunity to imagine that for yourself in real time? Do you actually have the will to change? Do you desire this future genuinely for yourself and for your children? Because this is where we are. This is what we've gotten to. This is the urgency of the moment. Who are you? And what are we doing with what it is that we find? Right? In terms of self accountability, if you find yourself to be out of place with your own morals, ethics, and values, how are you getting yourself back into place? If you are not willing to be accountable to community, then how can you hold yourself accountable if the self is how you relate to yourself? I'm going to ask that question one more time. If you are not willing to be accountable to community, not necessarily being held accountable by community, but being accountable to community, how can you be accountable to yourself if the idea of a self is a dynamic between how it is that you relate to yourself and yourself? In order for you to learn how to be held accountable, you have to hold yourself accountable first. If you don't ever believe yourself to be at fault, everybody else will always be at fault for trying to hold you accountable, and that's a problem. What does it look like for you to accept feedback? What does it look like for you to be held in such a way where it is not uncomfortable, but it is firm? Hell, what does it look like for you to be held in a way that's uncomfortable, but it doesn't harm you? Who are you in relationship to other people? Do you cause harm? Are you willing to take accountability for the harm you cause? Do you take on much more than you know that you can bear, and yet you consistently sit and smile and say to other people, give me more? Do you hold yourself to your values, or do you only have values so that you can hold other people to the things that you don't even hold yourself to? Do you have integrity? Who are you? Right? And once again, sometimes it requires you to step back. Sometimes it requires you to sit in nature. It's another thing we talked about at Deontay's show. Sometimes it requires you to sit by yourself, not in isolation, but in reflection. Who have I learned how to be up until this point? And have I learned to be that person in order to adapt to my surroundings? Is who it is that I am right now simply a culmination of adaptations that I needed to do in order to get to this point? And if so, how do I change that? I'm going to ask that question one more time. Is who it is that I am right now simply a culmination of adaptations that I had to do in order to survive to get to this point? And if so, do I need to change it? How do I change it? There's been a lot of folks talking a lot of shit about therapy, dog. A lot of folks talking a lot of shit. And I'm not saying that you cannot have any critiques. I'm not saying that at all. But why so critical? Therapy does not solve my problems. Yes, because it's not my job to solve your fucking problem. It's yours. My job as a therapist is to show you the problems and the patterns and to show you the options on how it is to get through them. My job is not to solve the problem for you. It is yours. Call it what you want. I'm going to call it what it is. You are trying to outsource the work that you need to do in order to be accountable to yourself. You cannot do that because you will never know who you are. You will never know who you are. If you consistently look for ways to outsource the emotional labor that you have to do in order to discover yourself, you will never know who you are. Ever. It will never come to you. It will never solidify because you have not done the work to do it yourself. You always want other people to tell you something. You always want other people to give you something. You are behaving parasitically. Who are you? Who are you? Right? I might be aging myself here, but for y'all, gimme folks, for y'all, gimme. Oh, I deserve. I this, then okay. Cool. I believe that people deserve things as well. I believe that people deserve nice things, but what are you willing to sacrifice in order to get it? Like I said, I might be aging myself here, but motherfuckers, hey, back in my day, motherfuckers used to say, Gimme got shot. Gimme got shot. Because he was always taking shit from motherfuckers. Because eventually a gimme is going to turn into a robber because he does not know how to sacrifice in order to get what it is that he desires. Gimme got shot because that nigga eventually started robbing people because he believed that he deserved shit that other people had and he did not want to go sacrifice to get it. That's the reason why Gimme got shot. Who are you? And who have you allowed yourself to become? Who are you and who have you allowed yourself to become? What is your desire for yourself beyond this point? My desire for myself beyond this point is to be smaller, right? Because I am too damn big right now. It is affecting my health and I do not like that, right? My desire for myself is to be a subject matter expert in Black mental health and Black relationships. And I have to continue to speak, write, and to read in order to make this happen. So I have to significantly drop down my social media consumption. We are creating systems to do so. I want to learn how to be an effective therapist, even though that therapy is not my primary. I am a therapist by trade, but I am an educator by spirit. But if therapy is the vehicle by which I learn how to be a more effective educator of the people, then I must commit myself to learning and improving my craft. That is what it is that I desire for myself. And I also desire to be in the rooms that God has called forth for me. That is what I desire for myself. But what am I willing to sacrifice in order to bring forth that desire? What am I willing to sacrifice to bring forth that desire? Because you just cannot be a taker. You have to be willing to give something. Who are you? What are your ethics? Who are you? What are your values? Who are you? Who are you? What are your morals? Right? Whether it be the Ten Commandments, whether it be Ma'at on this side, we practice Ma'at. You dig what I'm saying? And 42 laws, go look them up, right? But what are your more? And I'm not saying that you have to agree with me. I'm not even saying in order for you to be Black, you have to agree with what it is that I'm saying. But once again, if you are willing to take up arms in opposition against other people of the cloth, are you willing to sacrifice your own life? Are you willing to sacrifice your own validity? Are you willing to sacrifice your own ideological weight? In other words, if you step in this motherfucking ring, are you willing to get knocked the fuck out? If your desire, if your ideological desire places you in opposition of somebody who is a woman, somebody who is gay, somebody who is a child, if it places you in that opposition, are you willing to acknowledge the fact that they have the right to defend themselves just as much as you have the right to attack them? Who are you? Because motherfuckers who throw stones in glass houses and then get mad when their feet get cut are fucking delusional. Who are you? Who are you? These people have a right to defend themselves just as much as you have. If just as much as you believe that you have a right to attack them. Because in all intents and purposes, you believe that you're doing the right thing. Okay, they believe that they're doing the right thing too. This is what happens when y'all read when you read a whole bunch of books and you I read this book called The Righteous Mind. Why good people are torn apart by religion and politics, and that shit is moral psychology. It was not anything that I had not already known, but it deepened my chaotic neutrality. The only things that I am not neutral on is being black means that you are against classism, racism, homophobia, misogyny, misogynoir, child abuse, pedophilia, and any other type of oppression that is associated with white, colonist, nationalist, imperialist, patriarchal, societal expectations. And that is where my flag is. That is where I am planting it. That is how we will run our house. That is how we will raise our children. That is how it is who I determine who my community is, not who it is that I will work with. Because sometimes you got to work with people who don't necessarily align with your political values, etc. Sometimes you have to work with those people. As a therapist, I have to work with people like that all the time. It is in the therapeutic values and ethics. It is called justice. It's the therapeutic ethic of justice. Sometimes I have to work with people at their point of harm or at their point of need, irrespective of their political beliefs or religious affiliations. To a degree. To a degree. If you doing a lot, like one time I had a white woman come in and she looked me dead in the face. She was like, "I'm sorry, but he was acting like a nigger. I'm not working with you. Fuck all that. Absolutely not. You're not gonna disrespect me like that. You're not, right?" So there are some groups of people who I've worked with that, for all intents and purposes, are against my political ideology. They are against my socio-political ideology, and yet I work with them because I'm one of 4% of black clinicians overall. Fewer black men. There is not a lot of supply. So if I'm saying to myself, I am about community. If I'm saying to myself, I am a servant of the people. The people may not always agree with me. I may not always agree with the people, but here we are. This is what I'm doing. But the people who I call my community, the people who I will sit, lie, bait, and break bread with, these are the people who are against racism. These are the people who are against homophobia. These are the people who are against patriarchy. These are the people who are against misogyny and misogynoir. These are the people who are against child abuse. These are the people who are against pedophilia. These are the people who are against classism. These are the people who are against elitism. These are the people who are against these things, and they are not perfect. They're not. But they are against it. And they will make it very plainly so, and they will continue to move, and they will continue to develop themselves against this idea and against these ideologies. That is what they will do. And that's where I'm at. And that's where we're going to be for the rest of this season of The Antidote. So, good people, great people, guys, people, man. Hey, if this your first time tuning in, subscribe, go watch the rest of the episodes from previous seasons, man. This is going to be a ball in this season. That's number one. Number two, if you have not, please go follow me on anywhere that you see me, Professor.Odie, Professor_Odie. Go follow me, man. Three, please, once again, go subscribe to my Patreon. My Patreon is full of activities. It is full of pre-recorded sessions that will help you understand how to be more selfish. And once again, being more selfish simply means understanding how to put yourself first. It means how to learn how to stop people pleasing. It means how to learn how to improve your communication around your boundaries, your needs, your wants, your values, and your morals, all of those different types of things. But primarily, it is for you to understand who it is that you want to be beyond your pain, beyond your suffering, beyond your trauma, and beyond your hyperextension. But once again, y'all, it has been your boy, Professor Odie, licensed therapist. And I'll see y'all on the next episode, man. Happy Juneteenth. And I'm so glad to be back on the mic, G. It's been a long time, but we finna have a time. Peace, love, soul, and butter rolls. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.